Okay, welcome to our live stream today. I'm going to be here supporting you with some more practical tips to help you during this difficult time. So if you're here with me on Instagram, hey to you, pop a message in and let me know how you're doing. Oh, it's a tough time right now, okay? And on YouTube, hey peeps. I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're safe and well and your loved ones are safe and well. And hey to everyone on Facebook. So we are maximizing our time being productive and efficient on 3 platforms. So today's session, live stream is going to be entirely focused on staying positive and strong at all levels while you're in isolation. Okay, so New Zealand, where I am at the moment, where my family is, we start our lockdown today. So for the next month at least, we're going to be in lockdown. And I know a lot of our family, friends, and community all around the world have been in isolation and lockdown already for quite some time. So wherever you are, maybe some of you are not in that situation, and maybe that's something that's coming up. So I'm going to give you practical tips, really, really important insights to help you stay strong and positive when you're in a lockdown situation. This is not just about stay, active and, try and be optimistic. Yes, it's about that, but there's some really practical things that you can be consciously aware of about how you function as a human being that's going to support you to stay sane and to stay balanced during this time. So we're going to talk about what those things are. Hey to everyone there. Thanks for waving out and saying hi. It's great to have you here. Hey, Rachel. So nice to have you here with us. And, if anyone has friends and family that needs some love and support and positivity and optimism, as well as practical tips, because I'm all about practicality, make sure that you invite them to connect in with us, because I'm going to be doing these every 2 to 3 days. I'll try and do them more often if I can. It's just a case of capacity, because the Daily Positive is just me and my husband and our puppy, and that's the extent of our team. So we're going to do our best to support everybody. So let's just dive right in with some practical tips. The first thing I want to say about going into self-isolation or forced isolation and lockdown is this: you change your entire lifestyle and living and being and working situation instantly without any ability to necessarily prepare mentally and emotionally for what that means. And here is what will happen when you take a human being and you put them in a situation of uncertainty, rapid, unwanted change. They will immediately, any human being, even me, because I've just noticed I've been doing it, goes into coping mechanisms. Now, here's what coping mechanisms can look like. So I want you to stay aware of yourself when I give you these tips and think about, well, am I playing out any coping mechanisms, and is it working for me or not? And also just be a little empathetic and compassionate about the people around you who might also be playing out coping strategies, okay? Here are some common coping strategies. 1, emotional eating, where anxiety and fear and uncertainty, you don't have anything to do like you normally do. You're stuck in a confined space. You just are looking for something to engage and do. And quite often this will lead to eating in ways you wouldn't normally eat, maybe emotional eating, maybe overeating, okay? Second thing is coping strategies really common is drugs and alcohol, okay? And we're going to talk a little bit in a moment about if you already have a mental and emotional system that you do your best to take care of, and maybe you suffer a little bit of anxiety or a little bit of a challenge in your mindset, those things don't help. They actually make it worse. I think we can all agree that we don't feel great the day after or hours after doing those things. So we just want to be mindful about it. Other coping strategies are things you do when you don't have control. So my coping strategy is I clean too much. So when I feel like I can't control things, I will look for anything I can control. And in my world, that is, I feel better when I have a tidy environment because it makes me feel more peaceful. But unfortunately, I'll tend to overclean and I'll tend to get very agitated while I'm doing it. So I've noticed that I'm doing that. So what is it that you would naturally do if you don't have control? Some people, if you don't have control over a situation, will try to control other people. Now, if you're in a household with other people who are also trying to cope and deal with the situation, and your coping mechanism is to control, and you've got nothing else you can control, so you're only left with the people you're living with, you controlling them or attempting to control them is going to make life worse for you and for them, right? So all we're doing right now, for anyone who's just joining us on the live chat, is we are looking at ways to stay positive and strong when we're in self-isolation, isolation, or lockdown. We don't want to fall into unconscious coping mechanisms. And if we do, forgive ourselves, because we're only human. And who's been through this before, right? We don't know what we're doing. We're just figuring it out day by day. So coping mechanisms, other things are fidgeting. I will notice my husband says when I get anxious and I can't control things, I start biting at my nails. and I'm pretty peaceful and calm about this situation, even though it is very, very serious. I'm using my faith to stay very strong inside. Even then, I'm noticing that I'm fidgeting and doing things that I know are my coping strategies. So again, I just want you to think for yourself, what is it that I do when I can't control things, and what are my coping strategies? And bring awareness to them. Hey, Danny, and hey, Cal, there on Livestream on YouTube. So the second thing we want to talk about, other than coping strategies, this is the most important thing that I want to talk to you about today. When you are all of a sudden out of your normal daily life routine, structure, where you go, what you do, who you see, like a Monday to Friday, you have a routine, whether you realize it or not. You usually wake at a certain time, you do certain things, you go certain places. There is a certain level of a structure to your daily life, but it's not just the structure that you have in your normal daily life. It's that you know what tomorrow looks like. You know that when you wake up in the morning, there are certain things, and you don't have to think about it. And it gives you something to, without you really realizing it, look forward to, even if you didn't like your daily routine and your job, etc. It still gives you something that you know you have purpose tomorrow when you have your normal daily life. When you are in isolation, self-isolation, lockdown, any of these situations where we're put outside of our normal routine, my biggest tip for everybody is create a new routine. We don't know how long it will go on for. We can't just simply let ourselves lay around and kind of go with where our emotions are going to take us, because your emotions are not going to take you good places unless you are really aware of yourself and you put structure and rituals and routine around yourself to care for yourself. And it's really, really simple. It doesn't have to be difficult, okay? So everyone on Facebook, hey, everyone on YouTube and everyone on Instagram, let's talk about what it looks like. Get up at a regular hour every day. You don't have somewhere that you have to go to, but you have yourself to take care of. And there is a lot you can look forward to in your day. So you want to get up at a regular time. It doesn't actually serve you to lay in bed long hours if you don't normally do that, because then you're going to start to feel like you're immobile and there's no reason to get up. And it starts to play on your energy and your mind and your emotional systems, okay? And someone's saying here, wow, guilty, trying to control all the things, lots of eating. Right, I know, I hear you. We're all doing it. And that's why we're having the session, so that we don't fall into that trap, okay? Now's a really good time to make self-adjustments, okay? Sorry, I'm just having a look at some of the messages here. So we want to create that routine. So there's one is getting up in the morning at a regular-ish time. The second thing is having meal times at regular times. Like you would normally eat at regular times, okay, when you're doing your daily life, approximately. And the challenge is you can end up just sitting around and grazing and not feeling like you have any kind of structure. So you can have regular meal times with the people that you're in lockdown with, or if you're on your own, you can create your own structure for yourself. The beauty of that is you can also have time now to think about what nutritious, amazing things you can make for yourself. You could have fun trying new recipes. You could have fun being creative. You have a little bit of time to be thoughtful about what's going on. Mindful food prep, mindful eating. Most of the time, we're not doing that. Most people are just grabbing what they can grab on the go. There's no mindful eating. We're just shoving it down while we're busy. Well, now's an opportunity to be a little bit more still and a bit more conscious about that. The other thing with routine is, like, I was watching one of my sisters. I've got such an awesome family, and one of my sisters who lives in a different city, they've created a family structure for lockdown, right? And having a bit of fun with it. And so they have, they do their morning, routine with each other. We are allowed here in New Zealand to go out for a walk if we stay in our bubble with our household and we don't interact with other people. So we can walk our dogs, for example. So they're going to go out and walk their dog at a set time every day. They're going to have their lunchtime at a certain time. They're going to have family meal time together. They're going to have learning time or reading time, and they're going to have quiet time. So they've created this kind of cool structure. And I just want you to think about what you could do in that scenario. If you're not working, like for example, I'm working full time from home like I always do. Some people can't do that because of their jobs. So if you've got all this spare time, we're going to talk about ways to fill it. Okay, so that you can have a structure and a routine that works for you. Routine, routine, routine. The more routine you give yourself, your brain can go, I know what's going on. I know what's coming tomorrow because I've been told I've got a routine. No matter how simple that routine is, the more routine you have, the better it is for you, okay? The next thing I want to talk about is energy expression outlet. You are an energy being and you have got a lot of energy to churn. And if you take someone and you lock them up in a small space and you don't give them an outlet for their energy, you start to go a little stir crazy. It's not good for your mind. It's not good for your emotional system, not good for your body, not good for your relationships with everyone around you that you're in isolation with. So we have to get creative about our expression and our outlet of our energy. So I want you to think about it like this. You have physical energy. And even when you just go out day to day and you go for a walk, it helps you to move your body, it helps you to exert some physical energy, which feeds into then how you sleep, right? Everything is connected. You're eating, you're sleeping, your physical movement of your body, your mental, intellectual stimulation is all one big energy system. And if everything stops, your energy's got nowhere to go. I want you to think that you've charged up a battery, like you've wound up a little toy. It's got all this fuel and it's got nowhere to go. So we have to find outlets. So think about it, physical. Can you go walking where you are in your isolation if you keep your distance? If you can, that's a healthy thing to do if they're allowing it. If not, move your body. Move your body. Yoga with Adrienne on YouTube is my all-time favorite yoga awesomeness. Okay, so if you want to try yoga and you've never tried it before and you're a beginner, or you do yoga and you can't get to your classes, go on YouTube and go to Yoga with Adrienne. She's amazing. She's got yoga for all levels. If you don't have a yoga mat, don't worry. Put a towel on the ground and start and give it a go. Okay? There's loads of people that are doing fitness online videos of all kinds, simple, advanced, whatever you want, things you don't need gym equipment for. All the people who go to the gym, if you can't go, you're going to start to notice the effects after a week or so. You're going to feel like you need more of an outlet. And so what I want you to do is think about ways that you can move your body in the house, whether you are doing, star jumps, running on the spot, whatever you've got that you can do, press ups, sit ups, anything at all, just to get your body moving and active. The next one is intellectual energy and intellectual outlet and expression and creativity. If we don't use our energy, it's got nowhere to go. If you normally go to work, you normally socially interact with people in your workplace or your friends, and you go out socializing, you're going to start to notice the effects of not having that. So we need to be doing things like reading, get online and download some ebooks. If you're thinking, I can't afford that because I haven't got income at the moment, go online and look at the Amazon free ebooks. Okay, and heads up, very soon, it's my birthday while I'm in isolation. I'm going to be giving all of my ebooks away for free. Okay, so you can download all my ebooks. It's going to be happening in about a week, I think it is. So I'll let you know when that happens, okay? Hey, Ada and Jackie. So we want to start to think about ways that we can stimulate ourselves for that. There's so much online resources. Oh my gosh, I shared on my private personal Facebook network the other day, something one of my sisters shared about online learning resources for preschoolers, and it was like a list of like 100 zillion amazing things for kids that they can be learning and doing as homeschooling right now. What about us as adults? Jump online and look for things you're interested in. YouTube is packed with experts who will teach you how to garden, how to make arts and crafts, how to speak a different language, how to start an online business, how to whatever. There's so many resources out there. Create intellectual stimulation. Have you ever wanted to write a book? If you're in lockdown and you've got nothing to do, guess how long it takes to pump out a draft for a first book if you just let yourself focus on it? A month? 2 months? Start to think about all the things that you've wanted to do. You need an outlet for your creativity. You need an outlet for your self-expression. Maybe you start drawing. Maybe you start, creating something that you've always wanted to do. I don't know what it is, but you have to start to think about that for yourself. Next thing, introverts and extroverts in lockdown. Please, extroverts who are living with introverts, give your introverted loved ones some space. I live with an introvert, and as soon as I know his warning signs that I'm getting in his face too much. I'm an extrovert, he's an introvert. How about you guys? Are you living with intros or extros? You have to be aware that introverts, when we're not in isolation and lockdown, they have an ability to remove themselves and be able to get some space, which is important for their recharging and their balance. Okay, if you're in a home and you're in a contained space, you've got to give your introverted family members and loved ones some space, which means let them be in a room on their own and don't interrupt them. Have time out from each other. If you're an extrovert, you've got to be aware that you may not be able to get all your social needs met inside your household. So you've got to start to think about jumping online, having Facebook calls and video calls with your friends and family, catch up with people you haven't caught up with for ages. Okay, different things that you can do. So that's also super important. And one of the last things that I wanted to share is just to be aware of purpose. Human beings need a sense of purpose. And no matter whether you've lived your life thinking, I haven't found my life purpose, I don't know what my purpose is, or whether you do feel like you've got a sense of purpose, we're just simply talking about having a purpose for getting out of bed in the morning. And this time right now, when we start to think about, we wake up in the morning, we're like, I don't even know what's happening. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen next month. Like how long it'll go on for. And it starts to make you feel like your sense of purpose, ability to move ahead and create things and achieve things and know what you're doing and feel progressive and evolutionary, which we are designed to be as creatures, as evolutionary, evolving, creating, expanding all the time, that can start to feel like it's being squashed. And so what I want you to think about is, how can I create a sense of purpose from where I stand right now amid this situation? Okay. So for example, with me, being able to be here for you is giving me a sense of purpose. I obviously also run courses and programs, and so I'm looking after my people and that, and in my private coaching. And so I have purpose that can continue, but not everyone has that with their work right now. And so I want you to start to think about, what could be your purpose each day if you're in lockdown and self-isolation? Maybe it is that you're working from home. I've got some family members who are working from home. I know people in my community that can't work from home and they don't have that. So maybe pick some people in your community you care about that you could, for example, do a daily check-in with on a message or a call, and that could be part of your purpose for the day. Maybe you have fur babies in your household, feathered friends or fur friends like cats and dogs. They become part of your purpose. Your job is to caretake them. You are a guardian for them. Maybe your purpose is to find one positive message or video on social media every day and to share it with everyone in your community. I don't know what it's going to be for you, but I want you to start to think about creating yourself a purpose if you feel like you don't have one right now, because that's going to help you to stay sane, stay progressive, stay creating, stay expanding, stay balanced, and have a reason to get up in the morning and feel really good about it, okay? So these have been some tips and things to be aware of. We've talked about coping strategies, eating, drinking, fidgeting, trying to control other people. Another coping strategy is judging. You hear me? Judging other people. I've got nothing to do here and I'm feeling anxious and I'm feeling irritated and I'm just going to sit here and judge all these people on TV. I'm going to judge all the people I think aren't leading their countries right, and I'm going to judge everybody around me that doesn't seem to be obeying the rules. Doesn't help. If anything right now, universe, creator, higher power, God, Allah, whoever you believe is the higher power, the name that you give to that which is beyond us, we all point to the same thing, one love and consciousness. What all of that is asking of us now, Mother Nature is asking of us right now, do not fall into fear. Come up above it and sit in a loving energy. And it's not easy, because your anxiety and your fear and your concerns and all those things are going to want to drag you down. We cannot allow that to happen. I sat last night, and before I went to sleep, I listened to who I believe to be one of the wisest spiritual leaders of our time. And it was such a beautiful session. I recommend you might like to go and watch it. It's Eckhart Tolle's latest video on YouTube. It's about 20 minutes long. We have to, at a time when we cannot control the outer, we have to go deep, deep, deep inside of ourselves. And I've been getting so many divine signs right now saying, go deep within. Do not stay at the surface level of life right now, because the surface level of life does not have answers for you. The depth of your spiritual faith has answers for you. Going inside allows you to tap into spiritual wisdom that is energetic, and it is a different level of consciousness than we operate in our minds and our emotional systems. Please, 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 if anything, and I'm telling this because I have to tell myself as well, and amongst helping everyone is like finding a space to sit and just be still and go within, okay, and hear that peace and stillness inside, and maybe hear some guidance at the same time, okay? It's mainly about realizing when you can't control what's going on out there, the planet, the world, everybody, everyone you care about needs you to be still and calm and strong. People have got children, they need you to be still, calm and strong. You are all leaders in your own lives and your own networks, whether you realize it or not, because you wouldn't be part of my community if you were not a leader. And a leader simply is this: someone who chooses to light the way, someone who chooses to say, I'm going to see something else is possible going on here. I'm going to notice all my humanity and my fears and anxieties and my struggles and my challenges, and I'm going to acknowledge all of that, and I'm still going to find a way to find the light and to hold the light for myself and for everyone else around me, okay? So that's all I've got to share with you today. And I'm going to be back with you in a couple of days and making notes about things people are wanting advice on. If you need to, you can post a message on social media if you want me to talk about anything in particular. I can add that to my list. I'll keep coming back and showing up for you. Just a quick hey to people that are here on Facebook. Hey, Sarah, nice to connect with you. And Jan, it's so nice to see you guys. Bianca. So if you need me, you know where to reach me. support@thedailypositive.com. Connect with me on my social media. We're going live on all our channels every couple of days. I've got big love for everybody. I know this is a time that is just mind-blowing, right? Who thought we would ever see this in our lifetime? But this is where we are. And as Eckhart Tolle would say, don't resist. It's futile. Don't resist. It's absolutely futile to resist. It is happening. It is here. Let us find the best way through. Okay. Big love, everybody. I'm going to end this now, and I will see you again on live really soon.